I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of self-government. And in this video, we're talking about parenting without yelling. Were you raised by a yeller? Does your child go from 0 to 100 in a couple of seconds? Do they yell at you? Do they push back against you? This can lead to yelling. We're going to talk in this video about why yelling happens, how to curb the yelling in yourself, and some key things you can teach yourself and your children so that you don't have to be that yelling parent anymore. Nowadays, parents talk to me about their strong-willed children. And I kind of smile a little bit because I know that usually if you have a strong-willed child, it's probably because you're strong-willed yourself and they've picked it up from you. So if you find yourself going, how do I rein this child in? How do I control them? They're going out of control. They're getting angry at me. Remember, you're strong-willed, they're strong-willed. The last thing you need is to put those strong wills against each other and go to battle. It doesn't help. You may be able to shut them down temporarily, maybe even for a few years, get them to stop because of fear. But you don't like how that feels, right? They don't like how it feels either. What does it do to that bond? So the bond between parent and child is so vital, so foundational. It lays the foundation for everything else that you're going to teach your child. Do you really want to destroy that in every parenting interaction because you need to go to a power struggle every time? Yelling is manipulative. Don't forget that. It is something that you are doing in an effort to control another person. One thing that you need to remember is you don't actually get to control other people. They have to choose for themselves what they are going to behave like. You can set up a structure that helps them hopefully make better choices and teaches them cause and effect. You can teach them the skills that they need for success, but they still get to choose. They always get to choose. But this means that also your behavior is a choice. If they are yelling at you, getting aggressive with you, they are in your face, or maybe they're just not even talking to you or listening to you, you still get to choose your behavior too, which means you don't have to choose yelling. There is a reason probably that you yell. Most people feel something. Maybe they feel attacked, maybe they feel frustrated, maybe they feel like they don't have enough time, so they're starting to panic or worry or be afraid of not getting somewhere on time. Something like that starts happening, and suddenly they think a thought in their head, and the thought is something like, I can't, I don't have enough time, or not again, or some sort of stressed, panicked thought. Then that takes them to the stress part of their brain. Before they know it, they are fighting with the other person and trying to control the other person. This damages the relationship even if you do get out the door on time. Getting out the door on time is never going to be more important than that relationship, so don't forget that. So what can you do instead? There are definitely things that you can do. This book here, Parenting a House United, is a proactive approach to teaching you and your children the skills and principles that you need to successfully communicate without yelling. What does that look like? That looks like teaching your children specific skills that they need to communicate with you. Skills like how to follow instructions, how to accept no answers and criticism, how to accept consequences, and how to disagree appropriately. Just the act of teaching your child to disagree appropriately could change everything. Disagreeing appropriately is the gateway skill to self-government and absolutely changes your communications. Once you teach them the 7 steps to disagreeing appropriately, then you also will remember the 7 steps of disagreeing appropriately yourself. And even though you have a different role, and I have a whole book about roles, so that is important to keep in place in the family unit, but even though you have a different role, that doesn't mean that the principles of that skill, disagreeing appropriately, appropriately don't apply. In fact, if something is based upon a principle, it applies to everyone, parents included. So having in mind the process of disagreeing appropriately can also help you better explain things to your children. But what about the corrections? Because that's when the yelling happens the most. I have a script for corrections. I would love to share it with you. And I do that in my video, the next video, which is how to be a better parent without yelling. So join me in that video next.